Hello, everybody. Today, we have two major announcements for those of us who enjoy the purging of alien filth. Now, number one on the docket, we have the new major update for Helldivers 2. That is the heart of democracy. And I want to get right into this because I'm actually excited. I already saw the start of this. I want to watch the rest of it with y'all. Because I've been getting back into Helldivers 2 since they've updated a bunch of stuff. They've made the game a lot more balanced towards the Helldivers. And, you know, I've been getting back into it with the Illuminate. They're an interesting enemy and I like fighting them. And I've been playing with friends, and so let's check out the heart of democracy, because this has me excited. We're going to be fighting on Super Earth itself, finally. And it's going to be quite interesting.
Democracy burns. Super Earth has been invaded. The Illuminate Scourge lays waste to hallowed ground.
So the Illuminate have always been attacking population centers, right? Whereas the bugs attack mostly oil fields and the places where they were being bred for use as fuel by Super Earth. And the automatons kind of just establish staging grounds from which they can take over the planet and attack the industrial centers. Whereas the Illuminate have always attack population centers, every time. The Illuminate are the evilest of Super Earth's enemies. And they absolutely need to be annihilated. And I think that it would be wise, at least from the perspective of Super Earth's government, to just pull every single Helldiver back from wherever they were doing and say, okay, now we're fighting on Super Earth because Super Earth is under attack, right? So I think that's what needs to happen. We need to fight on Super Earth. We need everybody. We need the Creakers. We need everything on Super Earth. I only said Creakers because as I said, I kind of stopped playing, so I don't know all of the things anymore. But we need everybody on Super Earth for this one. And the scenario looks so cool, like the big ass buildings and stuff. Like I love this.
In ruins. Families torn apart. Flags disrespectfully soiled.
They soiled our flags, bro!
Billions of votes have already been lost.
I do think it's cool how they don't value necessarily the person, they value the votes.
Could this be the end of managed democracy?
No.
Not today.
Hell yeah!
Now is the time for full mobilization. Every
Warborn content shown requires base game, paid purchase of super credits, and game progression.
defender of peace, rally to arms. We will turn our streets into our battlefield.
I like that new enemy.
Our streets into our battlefield.
You can see it really clearly here. It's like what's that like tiny sea creature? That kind of I think it's a trilobite. Trilobite. That's what I'm thinking of, right? Yeah, it's a trilobite. Yeah, Ridicurex trilobite. Yeah, that's what it is. It looks really cool, and I like it. I like it. I can't wait to shoot it out of the sky.
Our playgrounds into our theater of war.
Damn, he blew that sea guy away.
Form the clenched fist of democracy.
Yeah.
And show them what true freedom is. Disciplined, armed, and
Fucking I love the friendly fire in this game.
absolute. Join the fight. Super Earth needs you.
Yes. Ah, he's beating the crap out of that guy with the shovel. Nice. So that's a Liberator Penetrator. That's an Eat expendable anti-tank. It's got the shovel there, and that guy doesn't have a gun. Honestly, honestly, bro, if you look at that and you don't want to fight for managed democracy, I don't even know what there is to say about it anymore, because there's just nothing to say. Why ain't you... If you've got the game, this is the time to jump back in, play, fight for Super Earth, save managed democracy. It's the time, right, guys? Because we don't want to lose now, of all times, right? Like, we have been losing. I've been fighting, I've been seeing it. We've been losing almost every objective against the Illuminate. And that cannot happen, bro. That can't happen, bro. We need to win this fight. We have to. We have to win. Because are we really gonna let Joel beat us? Are we? No. No, we're not. However, I did say there was going to be 2 announcements today, and the second one comes from Valrak himself. Now, I understand that we see here, it's not an announcement, it's actually an announcement. But, you know, apparently there's been some data mines for Space Marine 2, and we're going to get to see what is coming with the new updates. Hopefully they address some of the criticisms that I had and some other people had as well. But let's see what exactly the new content is for the game. Because a lot of people have been complaining about not enough new maps, which, you know, I understand. You know, it's been 6 months. They've added like 4 new maps since the game launched, which is pretty good for the PvE, because it involves not just like a new map. It also involves programming the places where enemies can spawn, new bosses, new objectives, all that stuff. So I definitely understand why that's the case, but people have also been asking for new guns and new melee weapons. I think that it's kind of lacking in terms of melee weapons. We're missing lightning claws, we're missing power axes. I think that the melee weapons still kind of hit like wet noodles unless you're spam parrying. So I wish that was something that was fixed, like just increase the damage of melee weapons overall, so that we don't have to rely on parries or like abusing the block mechanic for damage, even though block mechanic is still less reliable than parries. I don't care what anybody says. And overall, let's see if they address that here. If we can see the first signs of that being addressed. Let's see. Let's go.
In today's video about Space Marine 2, we're going to be talking about a couple of things. One is more data mined items, which is really exciting me. And the other one is the big announcement that is literally flown under the radar. This is going to change the game forever. Let's jump in and let's get waffling. So let's start with the data mine stuff, because I know that drives you chaps absolutely insane. Yeah. So in the previous video I did, we talked about the new class, which supposedly is going to be a Tech Marine. That was from the data mine files. This time
I did hear about the Tech Marine. The Tech Marine, kind of interesting. I wonder what the ultimate is going to be. Is it like dropping a tarantula turret or something like that? I wonder. And I wonder if we're going to get like to use the servo arm as like a melee weapon or something. Like, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what it's going to be like.
It's all about weapons, and I'm starting with the one. I'm either going to put it over my face somewhere at the bottom.
Yeah! Hell yeah! Power Axe. We'd love to see it.
It is a Power Axe. Finally, axes are coming to Space Marine 2. Supposedly, that's if you can trust these data mine files. Yeah. Really looking forward to see this being implemented. Of course, the Space Wolves are coming. It makes sense, right? Space Wolves, axes, you know, Fenrisian wolves, howls, snow, smelling a dog piss. It all makes sense. Really interested to see how it's going to act in game. The execution should be absolutely brutal. They need like an execution, like chopping off the head, like down there, off you go with your head. I would love to see something like that. And from a melee weapon, we jump over to a range weapon, which is supposedly been data mined, and that is this.
Oh, the Gravcannon. Okay, the Gravcannon's an interesting. It's an interesting gun. Yeah. Let's see. I'm curious.
What in the Emperor's name are we going to get? A grav weapon in Space Marine 2. Now, there is a few instances of grav.
I'm guessing it'll work similarly to the Neo-Volkite pistol, where it like builds up and then it deals a bunch of damage to the target.
Weapons on Primaris Marines. Torgadon has one for the Imperial Fist. There's also a Tech Marine that is equipped with a Grav pistol. So Primaris Marines do have them, but they're normally more outfitted on the first bomb marine, the tactical squads. They're the ones with the big Grav cannons. Now, as it says, a Grav cannon here, I'm thinking this is going to be for the heavy class, like the heavy bolter.
Almost
Maybe
certainly.
this is going to be a big boy Grav cannon, which is not normally equipped on Primaris Marines. Well, it's never been equipped on Primaris Marines, which makes me think, is this potentially a future model release?
That'd
for
be
Space
sick.
Marines? In the future, Devastators actually getting like Grav weapons, and you know, this company knows about it and they put it in the files and they've designed the model already off me.
It could be, but I don't think that's something to expect necessarily, because Gravcannons were never that heavily used on the tabletop. A lot of people consider them to be neat, but worse than other alternatives. So I don't know. I'm not expecting that to come out.
Maybe off base Games Workshop models. I don't know. That's where my head goes to. That's where the foil takes me. But hopefully this turns out to be true, because I would love to see a Grav weapon in the game.
I agree 100%. I think that the Space Marine 2 devs, what they really need to do is they need to boot up Eternal Crusade. They need to look at all of the weapons that were in Eternal Crusade, and they need to bring them over to Space Marine 2.
To see how it reacts, to see how it actually kills enemies. I've actually had Grav weapons before in another game called Eternal Crusade. For the OGs, the people who were there during the Eternal Crusade days, they had Grav weapons, and the execution on that used to be brutal. It literally just sucked like the enemy into a black hole and just put themselves in themselves, if that makes sense. It just they just went in themselves.
It was a really strong weapon, especially for dealing with heavier opponents. It was one of the few things that you could do against enemy vehicles.
That's how brutal a Grav weapon can be. So again, hopefully we get to see this in game and we get to see some absolutely badass executions. I'm pushing forward. I want to talk about this post in the background. Ladies and gentlemen, it has happened.
Today marks our biggest milestone yet in supporting the modding community. 12-player co-ops in Pale. Because as of today, we're releasing the official integration studio for public use. This is the exact same editor we use internally for all gameplay development. No more editing files in Notepad and praying you didn't miss a bracket. Integration Studio makes editing anything SSL related 10 times faster. Ooh, so now you can. This is good for modding and stuff. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. You can now actually they've actually made it so you can use the same tools as the devs when you're making your mods. That's really good. Well, in the beginning, not long ago, I promised we would support the modding scene, and we meant it. Watching this community grow, push boundaries, and create incredible experiences has been both inspiring and humbling. We're excited to see what you build next, whether it's cinematic campaign, wild new game mode, or something we never saw coming. Massive thanks to the brilliant, passionate folk at Saber who made this happen. The people, I can't pronounce any of these games, and many others behind the curtains. Oh, and just to showcase the creative potential, I've included some concept art for a Fishing with Daddy Calgar minigame. Yes, technically possible now with these tools. That's sick.
Potentially is the biggest content update we have had for Space Marine.
Yes, it's an infinite content update. That's the beauty of making modding a part of your game. You make it infinite content because now the community can make its own content. It becomes a community game, and that's you know, like there's no words to describe just how good this is, right?
Marine 2. I'm not kidding. I'm not lying. This potentially is the biggest thing to happen to Space Marine 2 to date right now. And this is coming from Dimitri. He's the game director of Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. He's basically the guy who basically made it. Well, he didn't make the game, but, you know, he's at the head of making the game. And he states, today marks our biggest milestone yet in supporting the modding community.
I already read this. I'm just going to skip forward.
It makes editing anything Well, there's more coming, but the base mod tools where you can now go in as a modder and literally make your own missions, make your own maps, do the AI director. This is absolutely massive in terms of Space Marine and Warhammer. I don't think we've ever had a Warhammer game where the developers have come out and said, hey, here you go, here's all the modern tools, go and make.
Yeah, Space Marine 1 had that to some extent, but it didn't have it to the extent of the actual developers coming out and saying, hey guys, here you go. Make the Terminators, make the Dreadnoughts, make all that stuff, right? They haven't done that, and I think that this is going to be awesome.
What you want. Again, we can go in now, potentially make different operations modes. You can probably go in there and make your own campaign mode because you've got access to the AI director, and this all works hand in hand with the game, the system. They give us these tools now to make what we want. Absolutely amazing.
And by the way, like, Space Marine 2's modding community is really strong right now, and it's like they said, before you were making it in, like, Notepad or whatever, and, like, hoping you didn't miss something. Now you have all the tools in your hand, and I think that that's going to be insane, right?
Job for everyone who's been involved in this, from the top all the way to the bottom. This is what games need these days. It needs to fire the community, to make the community a part of the game. You don't really see that that much these days. Like,
I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 did it, and it's why it was so successful. Helldivers 2 does it, and it's why it's so successful. Yeah, this is the exact right way to do it with this type of game.
Back in the day, this was a massive, massive thing. Developers used to do this all the time, but sadly, that has faded off because, you know, DLCs and stuff like that. I'm glad that the company knows that they can give the modding tools to this community to make their own content, and we're still going to support their content in return.
Well, because of the way that the monetization of Space Marine 2 works, where they basically just have the game, and they have the season pass. And they have the individual DLCs that you buy that are really just cosmetics in the game, right? So if you got the season pass, you've already bought everything that's gonna come out. So there's no point in them trying to sell you more things. They just need to sell that one single product, and to do that, all they have to do is make the game worth more. That's it.
This makes me want to support their content more and more and more because they're giving us more and more to make our own content for this game. So props, whoever's involved in this, absolutely amazing.
Also, it's important to note that Warhammer in general is a very creative-focused hobby. And so the people who play Warhammer games, they want a creative outlet for themselves. That means if you give us modding tools, people are going to use it.
I cannot wait to see what the modders are going to do to this. There's a Space Marine 2 modding community hub. I'll put the link in the description of this video.
Oh,
they are making wondrous content over there. There's a guy who made a Necron mod. You can literally go around and play as a Necron. For you Necron players, go and do it. It's absolutely amazing.
I wonder if people are going to make Necrons as an enemy faction using these new tools. That'd be sick.
And don't forget, those of you who haven't been following the news, we are going to be getting another reveal show this Thursday dedicated to Warhammer games. Space Marine 2 is...
I'm watch the shit out of that. I'm so excited about that.
It's going to be there, and it appears to be the Horde mode. We're going to get our first look at the Horde mode, which I'm massively excited for. Hopefully we get some more stuff. Maybe we'll see like the Blood Angel stuff, the White Scar stuff, maybe more content stuff. But I know it's going to be action-packed. I know it's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be fun.
Oh, man. I hope for the... I hope that the White Scar thing, because now I think Assault Marines can now use Power Swords. I hope that the White Scar gets a Dao. Like those curved Chinese swords that the White Scars use.
We're going to get some big reveals over there, not just for Space Marine 2, but for other video games as well. So make sure you're here on Thursday. We're going to be jumping in. We're going to be looking at that. We're going to be doing a watch-along. It is going to be wondrous. Anyway, brothers, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching, as always.
This was a good video.
If you got any thoughts, feedback, anything like that, post it down below, and we can have a nice little chin wag down there, as we always do. See you now. Have a great day. Have a great night. And bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was awesome. I'm really excited about both of these updates. I don't even know which game I want to play more right now. I think I need to play. I think I need to be on Super Earth for a bit. I need to defend Super Earth. But I will be checking out I will be checking out a bunch of mods for Space Marine 2 sometime soon. I'll be checking that out. I'll probably be making videos on all that stuff because this is just really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are as well. But with all that being said, I'll see you guys next time, and I hope to see you as well on Super Earth and in Space Marine 2 when the time comes. Have a good one. Cheers.
Thank you.